All right, welcome back. Recently, 11Alive received a tip from an Atlanta traveler from I'm sorry, you're looking at the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport right now, and what we're talking about is each day about more than 250,000 people make their way to and from Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. You get off the flight and you go into the garage, you want to go to your car. But we received a tip from an Atlanta traveler returning from a trip where she found her vehicle missing from the parking deck and is now sharing a warning with our consumers, investigator Liza Lucas. And she's been following up on this spike in auto thefts from last year. Liza, how devastating is it for you to get off a flight, right? If you've been on a long flight, maybe you get off and your car is missing. Talk to us about this.
Well, you'd be in disbelief, right? Sometimes you may be familiar with some of our coverage. As you mentioned, there was a spike in auto thefts last year. Police talked about it. We covered it here on 11Alive, but you never really happened to you, really think it's going to happen to you, according to Lindsay, who we talked to. Now, Atlanta police, though, did give us the latest data. And as of May 31st, 81 vehicles have been reported stolen from the airport property this year. Compared that to 159 vehicles by the same time last year. So what are we looking at right now? About a 50% drop in this type of crime. But of course, if you're one of those who was still a victim, like Lindsay, it's still one too many happening. Take a listen.
I have heard of it happening at the airport, but I just thought it was like super luxury cars and just like Bentleys and Lamborghinis. And I didn't think it would be my Cadillac, my family car, which I need to fit, all of our kids and their friends. And if I would have gone and Googled and realized that the level of number of cars that are leaving this airport, I would have never considered parking here.
Now, unfortunately, Lindsay's car also serves as her mobile office, and that just added to the headache and the harm in this situation. She parked the car in the South Daily lot on May 15th, and we got to look at the police report. That report shows no exit time for her vehicle, Chesley, and something else that brought up some questions for me. The report states, quote, no cameras can be located inside of the parking deck level 2. And we definitely pressed the airport officials about that.
What? Okay. Whoa. Yeah, I have a lot of questions about this. No level 2 cameras, right? So, how do they rectify this? I mean, I'm baffled.
Well, I have to say they didn't directly answer our questions. They had previously in a separate email told me that they have parking cameras surveillance across the parking areas. And then when I asked, is there a potential blind spot in Lindsay's case where she parked, or maybe there's some other context here. Maybe there was a problem with the footage and they couldn't access the cameras. Maybe it was just the wording of the reports. Again, I didn't get a direct answer. They just emphasized that security, of course, is the top priority. But we had a lot of questions about this, and we're going to continue to ask.
Are they giving any tips for people wanting to park their cars now at the airport with these numbers? I mean, what are they saying to us?
Well, we have to keep in mind that there has been a drop, and a significant one, and keep in mind the full picture here. More than 30,000 parking spaces at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. I mean, you mentioned right off the top the number of people that are flying to and fro daily. So when we talk about 81 thefts this year, that is a very small percentage. And the airport pointed to that, and they said this coordination of efforts between APD, airport staff, their parking contractor, that's all led to that drop. But as you mentioned, for tips, if you are hearing Lindsay's story and you're concerned about how to protect yourself, well, APD says one thing right away: clean car, clean car. Don't leave anything of value in sight. They say don't even cover something that's not valuable with a jacket. Sometimes we just toss it down on the floorboard. That can just indicate to a would-be thief that something of value is there. And even remove your parking ticket, because if someone does target your car, that gives them an easier way to get out, Chesley.
Liza, you got me on this one.